Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
Don't make me start. Please. I'm tired. I didn't shower today. I kept putting off everything that a normal person does to be a human, and now
it is Saturday.
I'm too depressed, and I didn't work out. I didn't shower. I finished that fucking book that I've been reading 2 pages at a time for months.
That's amazing. That weird nonfiction book that you didn't like.
It was fiction. It's fiction, and it's by a great author. I was so bummed to realize, this is it. This is like halfway in. I'm like, it's not going to get any better. But I was already in, and I wanted to finish it.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, you talked us into doing a show last night that we all did.
That was fun.
It was fun. You did crowd work.
I did. I did. There was a lot going on in our Zoom gallery.
Yeah, It was pretty great. And you did 30, I think, didn't you?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I did some old stuff. Sometimes you just got to remember, the old stuff.
Right. You gotta do your time,
mm-hmm.
and you did it.
Yeah.
And I did a show right before this. Carmen Morales put up a Zoom show, and I did crowd work just like in a club
mm-hmm.
because I had it on Gallery View.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And during one of my jokes, a guy blazed up with his pipe, and so it just lit up. It's like if somebody turned on their phone in the room.
Sure.
So it just lit up his screen.
Like Krakatoa. Like baby Krakatoa.
I said, "Hey, Ben, did you just light up a pipe?" And he goes, "Yeah. Hey, no, I'm really enjoying the show." So it was exactly like being in a regular club.
It is honestly, sometimes the audience in regular clubs has no idea that you can see them, even though you're just meters or feet from each other. So
exactly.
they're as shocked digitally as they are in person.
Right. Someone ordered a notebook today from the Patreon,
mm-hmm.
and so I owe you $15.
No.
So there you go.
We'll figure it out. We can. Yeah. We have so much comedy to talk about, Jackie. There's no reason why we would have to do Patreon math right now.
Well, it's a nice clock eater. I saw a hummingbird out my window today. It was sunny today for the first time.
It was nice in Los Angeles. Yeah, I have a hummingbird feeder, and I get a bird that keeps coming in and then leaving, like the food's not good enough. So maybe I have to wash the feeder. I'm not really sure. But then I have...
You did it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you did a joke about birds last night that was new, brand new.
Yeah, because that's...
Brand new bird joke.
I've been staring at birds. That's all I have is birds outside my window. And they're frustrating to me. I mean, they're fun to watch, but what a bunch of lunatics. Honestly, they're constantly attacking each other for food and, overreacting to my presence. Right. I'm on your side. I'm feeding you. You don't have to act like I'm the enemy, okay?
I have the same problem with mammals. I got cats all over this neighborhood. So I got a lot of things to plant. I've been ordering things a little. For some reason, it's okay for me to order something if it's under $10. Really? That adds up, Cation. Mm-hmm. What are you nuts? And so I got a yogurt starter. I might make my own yogurt.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm embracing my grandmother. And
I think a lot of us are. Tiffany Stevenson, our friend from the UK, made a fence. She put a fence up. It's full of pieces of wood. It's like what? What do you do?
She just rigged up a weird fence.
Allowed to just put a fence on your property? I didn't know that. But anyway, I liked it. It was cool.
It was pretty cool.
Shocking. But comics are reverting to who they would have been had they not discovered stand-up comedy. And for me, it's incredibly depressed. just unable to get out of bed.
Right. It was, I had a bad day a couple of days ago, but today wasn't bad. Though I was on Zoom for about 6 or 7 hours. And that's a lot of Zoom. It's a lot of Zoom.
Right. I mean, the shows feel fun. You know, the 2 shows we did feel really fun, you know.
We're doing another one, I think, this week for Max Fun, right?
Right. On Wednesday, I think.
On Wednesday, yeah.
So that'll be, it's fun. It's something to look forward to. If you're a Max Fun supporter, subscriber,
you can come to the Max Fun show that we're doing on Wednesday.
Who else is on it?
They haven't picked yet, though. They went through the Max Fun roster and gave us a list of Max Fun hosts that do stand-up comedy. Yeah. So the ones I remember are Helen Hong and Dave Hill and Emily Heller.
Yeah, it's a good bench.
Yeah, it's a pretty deep bench. Judah Friedlander came to the show tonight at Carmen's thing.
Just to watch?
He texted me. Yeah, just to watch. He texted me. He was like, how do I get into this thing? And I'm like, pay $5, man. No, I did not say that. I just gave him the link. I was like, that's how I know that that the Zoom shows are real. I got asked for 2 comps this week.
Get me in. Well, Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy, tweeted that there was no fucking way he was going to do Zoom shows, basically. But that's how I felt a couple weeks ago. I don't know.
Right.
I understand that position, so I can't criticize. Sure.
I understand that position if you're fabulously wealthy like Fluffy is.
True. More Zoom for us, Jackie.
Exactly. You want 6 months from now not to have done stand-up in 6 months?
I know.
Feel free, man. Yeah.
I know.
And
it might longer than 6 months. I mean, this...
Right, and you're going to kill your loved ones. Because it's not like stand-up comedy isn't a thing that we do for ourselves. Right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, the other thing is, if clubs are allowed to go open again, will people want to be close to each other, or are we going to have an audience full of? Because I mean, laughs spray, right? Like, as comics, we're in danger because it's all aimed at us. Some of us are in more danger than others. Some of you newer kids aren't that. You guys will survive. Trust me. I've seen your acts.
I've seen some hacks.
Yeah.
Some hacks out there. You guys are safe.
But yeah, I mean, it's if one person has COVID in a physical audience, them laughing can infect everyone around them. So
I was wondering what the deal was after the 1918 pandemic. How long it took for people to gather again. Like, for how long it took for the restaurants to get full again.
Right.
For dance clubs to get full again. For concerts to get full again. And I have seen no studies. I'm sure 1,000 studies will come out.
When was Prohibition? Was that in, like, 25?
I think... I don't remember. Kyle,
unfortunately, we can't look it up.
1920?
Okay.
I think it was 1920.
What a hit. First the Spanish flu, and then they make...
No booze.
Booze illegal? Yep. That's horrific. So, it's so... And then... That would affect any comeback of any kind. I guess we get to figure out when people start going back to church. That's... To
1920 to 1933?
Right. But then they went to speakeasies, which probably somehow indirectly led to the rise of stand-up comedy. But yeah, I mean, even if it's 2 years, which in history isn't that long, if it's in your life, it's a really long time.
It's a long time if you're 19 and these are your hottest years. How are you going to get work? But
wow,
yeah,
that was. I recognize the sarcasm. I understand how.
I actually genuinely feel bad for, because I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and they're all of that age where they're in their like I got a nephew. So he's got his first girlfriend, and he can't hang out with her, and he can't make out, and they can't touch each other's parts, and whatever. I mean, it's a drag. I am sympathetic, is what I'm saying.
No, it really is awful for kids. My son is with me, another adult, and my mother, and that's it. It sucks, I mean,
right. It isn't good.
His water polo team, they have Zoom meetings once a week where they get a guest water polo player to talk. But I mean, this isn't a talky sport. It's like everyone needs to be in the water, kicking each other in the nuts. That's what they do. And to have these meatheads just try to connect on Zoom, and I mean, they do dryland workouts and stuff, but it just for athletes, it's fucking awful. I read this really good article, I think, in the New York Times about. They followed a couple gymnasts just, that were preparing for 2020 in a couple months. And now it's at least a year off and it's fucking up all of their lives,
Right. Right. So it's hard to stay in shape when you have to work out in your house.
Correct. And, being an Olympian, it's not big money for a lot of people until they get a gold medal. So people that are just scraping by hoping to, get something in 2 months or 3 months, now it's been put off maybe indefinitely. Maybe they can't hang on another year of training, Right.
It's brutal. Yeah. I saw that you posted that, was there something you posted? It was, because I did Cult for Good, but you had posted another thing to donate to. You posted a really cool thing to donate to that I saw
One
today.
of them was called Alice's Kids, and it's...
Oh, that's what it was.
And so they were giving toys to poor kids that don't have... are trapped in their
toys
houses.
And books and stuff. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And the Cult for Good thing, have you heard of that? I heard about it from Jenna Friedman, comic, right? Yeah. But it is some... like crazy YouTube, Instagram influencer dude who's super gay, and he started something called the Cult for Good, and they bring stuff to homeless people in Los Angeles, and they made so much money and brought, like, they bring soap and menstrual stuff and hygiene stuff and food and water, because there's no plumbing, right? Yeah. And there's no food and water, and nobody's going anywhere. So the panhandling business has suffered. And they're, but they gave away hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stuff. And now they're doing it in San Diego, Seattle, Vegas, San Francisco, Oakland. And now they're moving to the Midwest and the South.
That's good. I mean, that's great. And
it's pretty cool.
It is cool. But, this is shit our government's supposed to be doing.
Oh, yeah. We don't have a government. We don't have a federal government. We only have local and state governments.
I know.
That's what we have
GoFundMes and, it sucks.
Yeah. And Michael Moore.
That guy's got to... I don't have any... I don't know why anyone would want to listen to today's podcast. I am nothing to contribute. I'm just...
Well, I don't know.
My hair is greasy, and for some reason, I get in a...
It's nice.
I get in a spiral. Thank you. I get in a spiral where I don't... If I don't shower in a certain time, I'm like... I punish myself by making it worse. And then I was like, what... Is this... Like, how has this been my whole life? Because this is my core, where I like to throw anchors around myself and then try to make myself swim, And then I complain that I'm barely treading water and everyone else is soaring. And it's like, you fucking threw 50 anchors around your neck.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's really hard to just kind of, some days are hard now to just get up and to just keep going. Mm-hmm. And today you didn't even have work, right? You didn't even have Conan to go to.
No, that's another, like, everything has been stripped, not financially. So that's great. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't have that worry, but I just mean like in routine, and I was just thinking, like, I barely did anything today and I'm wiped out. And, like, my normal days are super packed.
Right. And today was the first nice day in a million years. And this is the first day I didn't take a walk. Yesterday I walked in the rain with my Blade Runner umbrella. I have an umbrella.
I understand that. Like,
it was
maybe
weird.
The potential of a good day is so overwhelming that you need to make it personally rain inside your head.
It was 70 degrees.
Yeah.
But, I could have gone. Tomorrow I've decided I'm not going to be on the internet at all. I'm going to do what I can to not be on the internet tomorrow, Sunday, the day before this comes out. And I'm just going to go and putter around in the garden and try to mix. I bought a 40-pound bag of steer manure. Hi. How's it going? This is a great episode, you guys.
Did you get it from Flappers?
And I did.
Flappers is like America's greatest wholesaler right now, guys. If you need
They really
anything
are.
in LA, they have it.
Didn't we see on the thread that they sent out an Easter basket?
I did. Someone bought an Easter basket from Flappers.
Yeah. That is, and tomorrow is Easter. My brother sent me that his church is closed, but I guess the priests and the altar boys, my nephews are altar boys.
Oh boy, Jackie.
And they're just running lines, I guess. So at the churches are going to be running lines tomorrow without any audience members, and God will see them. It's and I'm like, are they all 6 feet away from each other? And my brother's like, they're always 6 feet away from each other. I mean, the priest is in the middle, the guys on the altar are on either side shaking their incense things,
sure.
And they're all wandering around. So it's a very straightforward kind of situation. But so I guess tomorrow is Easter. Do you guys do anything for Easter?
No.
Neither does Andy's family.
Like, I was like, I haven't raised my child to even hate religion. Like, I was raised, I went to church every Sunday, and I was like, oh, I fucking hate this shit. But at least I knew it. Like, he doesn't really even know anything about it. He thinks that, it's just another theory he's heard about and stuff. But it's not even part of his life to reject, which now I'm wondering maybe if that was the wrong thing to do. I'm not really sure. I don't know.
Right.
I got nothing from it, I feel like. But
he will be a man, and he will figure out his own perception of God, one imagines, if he ever has one.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I told Andy that the next time he drives out of the house that he's got to do a drive-by and leave on your porch several manga that your young man might enjoy. So
that's nice.
Yeah, because I've got a couple of books I think he might like. So
because my kid watches so much anime on my Netflix account, they are constantly offering me Japanese fare, and I'm watching this detective show that it starts in Tokyo. It's Tokyo and London are the two places, and it's mostly starring Japanese, two Japanese guys as brothers. One's a detective and one's a bad brother. I mean, it's got everything you want, right? But
wait, it's called Tokyo and London?
No. That's where it's
What's
based
it called?
It's Japanese names. I'll
okay.
I'll look it up. Hold on.
I can also Google detective Tokyo and London detective.
No,
thing on
I'll
Netflix.
look up my Netflix history right now because people will be angry.
Right,
Jackie, you talk while I Google.
Okay, well, today I recorded A Dork Forest with Steve Mantle, who's very funny. Mm-hmm. He's a guy who started doing stand-up after he met me, and I was like, oh, did you see me do stand-up? And you were like, oh, anyone could do this. And so he's been doing it 3 or 4 years. Did you find it?
I did. But Finisher, oh my God.
Oh, yeah. And his dorkdom was monsters. We talked about monsters movies and his favorite Godzilla, King Kong, and then another thing, which I can't remember. It's a classic Dork Forest moment.
Okay. It's called Giri, Giri, and then / Haji, Haji. And it's shot really cool, and I definitely want to marry the detective, so I'm in.
There's a good brother and a bad brother?
Yeah. And the bad brother's all hot in a way that I know appeals to a lot of women, and then the detective is depressed in a way that appeals to me.
Exactly. Did you see that thing that Maria posted about some show on Comedy Central called This Is Stand Up or something?
No.
I texted her and I was like, is that because she wrote a thing for Audible.
Right.
And it was how to write an hour of stand-up comedy. And I listened to her work on it like she would read it to me. Mm-hmm. And it was essentially, I mean, the basic joke is and it's hilarious. I mean, I think it was an hour long. It might have been longer than that because it was called something like How to Write an Hour of Stand-Up Comedy. And the theory is whatever you're doing, just call that stand-up comedy and you've written an hour of stand-up comedy. And so I was like, oh, is it that? Is that the thing that Comedy Central is airing? And she said, no. And I said, well, what was it? And she said, I don't know.
Okay. Well, that interaction will keep me awake at night because you've given me only clues and no answer.
Right. Because I think it's called This is Stand-Up Comedy. And I said, well, what is it? And she said, I have no idea. Comedy Central asked me to retweet it, and I did.
Oh, all right. Well,
and I was like, and you weren't in it? And she said, no, I don't even know what it is. And but it made me think, if you call it stand-up comedy, you can call it stand-up comedy, and it is.
Stand-up is it's a big tent. Anyone talking apparently counts. This counts, I guess. You know, this fucking weirdness.
We're going for laughs.
Yeah.
Are we going for laughs?
I mean, not us. This right now. No, it's a podcast.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, in general. Right. When we're Zooming, it's, it counts. There's people there. You could see them. I was, right. Kyle was really funny too last night. And I was kind of, so I was watching, looking at our screens of people. How many did we have for last night's show? Like 40-ish? Oh, cool. So, it was fun to just see people enjoying the show, and it's a lot of people that don't live near a comedy club or for various reasons wouldn't go to one seem to be enjoying stand-up that's live for maybe the first time. I'm not really sure.
It does feel like that's real, that's something that is happening where these are people who are, for medical reasons or for psychological reasons or for geographic reasons, would never get to see us or even any kind of stand-up comedy.
Right.
They seem to be the ones that are like, oh my God, this has been so great. And like we're doing that show for Flappers, you, me, and Maria. Yeah. And some guy tweeted that he was going to set his alarm clock for 4 a.m. in Norway.
Oh my God, that's so awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes me want to do an 11 a.m. Pacific time so that guy can also just see stand-up comedy when he's awake.
For sure. I mean, there's nothing stopping us. I mean, we could be doing shows all day long, I guess, if we figured out we wanted to, right?
Right.
You just have to tweet.
You want to do 6 shows. You remember those 6 shows a night?
Oh God, those days.
Those halcyon days, you taking an Uber or a Lyft. And because I think because I am going to do more morning midday shows. Yeah. Just because I was getting, somebody was sad that our show was at 10 o'clock on the East Coast. And I was like, okay. I mean, it doesn't have to be at 8 and 10:30.
Right. But at 10 o'clock, that's a late show, okay? I mean, the real late shows used to start at 11 o'clock. And you have to be out of your house. So you're getting a late show at 10 o'clock in your house. I don't want to hear the complaints, okay?
Right.
Please.
10 o'clock isn't late.
You're not waking up early. No one's waking up early anymore, okay? You can stay up till 10.
Yeah, you know what I realized is that I am waking up. Andy was like, you don't sleep as much as you do when you're on the road and you come home. And I was like, that's because when I come home, I'm making up for being squoze into an airplane there and just working and the road is exhausting, as we all know, right?
Right.
So to just be home this whole time is actually kind of fascinating right now. And I don't mind it, quite honestly. I mean, it would be nice. Like, I want to go to Magnolia Grill with the power of the sun for breakfast, I like to go out to lunch. You ever see Private Benjamin? I want to go shopping. I want to go out to lunch. I want to be normal again. Yeah. Goldie Hawn, some real life-changing words back in the 80s. And but the fact that I'm not going to bed until probably midnight, but at like 10 o'clock, I go to bed, I read a book for an hour, and then I go to sleep at like midnight, and I get up at 7 or 8.
I haven't been home this much. Maybe right after my kid was born, maybe.
Right.
Then I was trying to figure it out, but I was still doing stand up at night. I was in New York, so.
Wow.
But yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's weird to, like I used to never worry about Saturday nights. Like, oh, do I have a date? Am I at a party? Am I cool? No, I'm a comic, so I don't have to worry about filling a Saturday night like other people do,
Right.
like you see people tweet about, oh, I'm such a loser. I'm not doing anything tonight. It's like, well, I don't even know what that feels like because I'm always working and I'm happy to not have to even deal with that, and now you're not really dealing with it either because you can't do anything on Saturday night anyway. But
right.
It's clearly, I mean, I've been doing stand up and you have too for over 30 years. This is like, it's to have it taken away and take that habit of being out most nights away. I don't know if it's good. Maybe it's partially good to just be forced out of it for a little bit to just go, maybe I've been on autopilot for a long time. Like, oh, this is what I do. This is who I am, and you can't stop me. And
it does
I'm saying to my child, you can't stop me.
I'm saying to everyone in my life, you can't stop me. I'm going out.
Yeah.
But I will say that part of it was feeling kind of like autopilot. So there's a certain point in stand-up when you're doing it so much and you're doing it all the time. And you don't really know why you're doing it anymore.
Right.
And what I am looking at is now I know that I get irritable if I don't do it, right? Mm-hmm. I would say the day before yesterday, that like last night we did a show, tonight I did a show. 2 days ago, Andy was like, "You're a little grumpy." And I'm like, yeah, I'm so sorry. Tomorrow I will be better. And because I will have done stand-up comedy. Like Friday day was kind of a twitchy day for me. Mm-hmm. And Thursday, holy shit, I literally had a crying jag. And I do a small amount of crying.
Right.
To some extent, I wish I did more crying. Did you see Jenny Yang's How to Make a Face Mask?
No.
And then she took 2 hair ties to make the ear holders.
Oh, yeah.
She took a scarf and some hair ties, and then she put it on, and then she screamed into it. It was really... And who doesn't want a scream cry pillow right now?
Sure.
For real. Just a little pillow work, I think, is important.
Yeah. It's weird. Like, this week, Vic Henley passed away, a comic.
Right.
He died.
Right.
I think he was on life support earlier in the week, and then it wasn't COVID related. He had possibly had a pulmonary embolism, I think.
Right. It was heart related for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a heart disease.
Yeah. And he was 57?
57. Yeah.
Oh,
which is younger every day.
Fuck.
Every day that's younger.
Well, it kind of, and he drank and stuff, like classic comic drinking, but he wasn't an unhealthy guy, I think he was like a beer at night kind of comic.
Okay.
So I was talking with somebody else about it, and we were just saying how unhealthy the comedy lifestyle is. Like, even if you're slim, you're in good shape or whatever, all that flying, I'm not sure it's, it could be wearing us down in ways that we don't know yet,
Oh,
because
wait, that's what I read.
I was really shocked when Vic passed away. I mean, he was a great comic, great guy, and everyone was just like, what? That's insane. He was just another guy. He was healthy. He didn't seem, it wasn't like, there's other comics where you're like, oh, all right, I saw. We knew. but not Vic and,
Not Vic. But, and I did read that what he did die of was that thing where it's sort of a flying heart thing where a lot of your blood pools in your legs. And it can cause clots
like that,
if you do
DMV,
a lot of flying.
Is it the deep vein thrombosis?
Thrombosis, that's the word.
So that causes a pulmonary embolism?
That's the speculation, and we're talking about the power of one article. So
Right.
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not a scientist.
But it kind of reminded me of Tim Wilson passed away a bunch of years ago, and he was he was in his 50s, and he was a road dog. Like that guy would drive 20 hours straight and fly, just everything. He was just constantly on the road, you know. I don't know. I mean, just in regular life, people are going to die too young. That's shocking. But I just wonder if part of that, the waking up.
It's a hard life.
Yeah.
And if you are genetically predisposed to some of these diseases, right?
How would you know? I mean, though?
You don't know. Like I feel lucky not to have died from such a thing because I'm enormously I have an enormously unhealthy lifestyle, right? Like it's not like I eat well and exercise, but but I think it's peasant stock. It's that Irish Armo,
Maybe.
I should be picking rice.
Jackie, your grandmother walked enough for 2 generations of Cations to chill out on a couch, right?
Yeah, we're living it.
But was she on some kind of death march that she survived?
My brother Russ called me to tell me this. This is hilarious. He has lost in the last 3.5 weeks 18 pounds.
Wow.
And I said, what are you doing? Are you, because he's always been a weightlifter guy. He's a gym rat, but he's not a cardio guy. Mm-hmm. And I said, are you starting to walk or something? He said, you're going to think this is funny. And I'm like, it isn't funny. This is insane. He said, the reason I lost the weight is because twice a week, I would take myself out to lunch, and he gave me permission to tell this story. So he said, twice a week I would take myself out to lunch, and you know what I would have for lunch twice a week? And I said, what? He said, a Monte Cristo.
What's that?
A Monte Cristo is a ham and cheese and jelly sandwich that has been breaded and deep fried twice a week for lunch. And covered in powdered sugar. I can't. A ham and cheese French toast.
I need to understand how these ingredients were put together and then fried. That is horrible. What a horrible thing to create.
For lunch. So he went home and had dinner after having twice a week a 2,200 calorie lunch, he told me it was.
Wow.
I was like, yeah, you're going to lose 18 pounds in 3 weeks because of that. Even if you're eating everything in your home. I was like, Andy likes a Monte Cristo. He'll have one once a year. It sounds disgusting to me. It's not for me.
I think I may have lost a little bit of weight, but nothing. I'm not doing as much snacking. There is an hour in the day at Conan where I dive into a bowl of M&Ms from anxiety, right? That happens every day.
Okay.
A couple times a day. So that's not happening. And I guess I am doing, just because there's nothing to do, a little more yoga, like every day-ish.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's helping, but yeah.
Is that pretty good meditation, too? Is that pretty good psychologically?
Yeah, I think so. Uh-huh.
Okay.
I should meditate. I haven't meditated. Have you tried meditating?
Yes.
Are you doing like 20s a day, 220s a day?
No, 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay.
I'm not good at it.
Okay.
I'm just doing it.
Okay.
So literally, I'm just like, a friend of mine was telling me, every day she's just like, okay, I'm reporting for duty. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Like she gives a shout out to God every day. She's like, all right, God, do whatever you want with me. I'm reporting for duty. And I'm like, that sounds queer. I'm not doing it. And in the old sense of the word, right? It's just odd. It sounds odd.
This is an 80s conversation, and I love
uncomfortable.
It. Yes.
It feels uncomfortable, and I can't face it. So, hey, speaking of which, we are at least a half an hour into this thing.
Are we?
Let's do a break for
Max Fun.
For Max Fun.
I'm Travis McElroy.
I'm Courtney Enlow.
I'm Brent Black, and we're the hosts of Trends Like These.
Trends Like These is an internet news show where we take the stories trending on social media and go beyond the headlines.
We'll give you the actual facts of the story and not just the knee-jerk reactions.
Plus, we end every episode with a ray of hope that we call the Wi-Fi of the Week.
So join us every Friday on Maximum Fun.
Or wherever you get get your podcasts.
Trends like these, real life friends talking internet trends.
And I say we should also do Comic of the Week, who I worked with at a Zoom show with Phil Johnson last week. And her name is Nina G. And she is a stuttering comic. And I was telling you guys the bit of hers that I really liked. But she does a lot of stuff about stuttering. She seems relatively new, but she's super funny. We did the show together, the Phil Johnson show. Mm-hmm. And what's her Twitter handle, Kyle? Do you know? Nina G. Comedian. You know how to spell all of those words, you guys. So just follow her and find her. She was great. She was really funny. And it was just all about how people were like, well, you're pretending to have a stutter. And she was like, of all the things.
Of all the disabilities, that's the one you can't skip, really, as a comic. But, people go, oh, you just don't mention it, and maybe some comics go out with if they're not straight white men, they're an other of some way, right? We're women, whatever. We're middle-aged, whatever our other is. Do you mention it? Do you not? That's everyone's discussion with themselves, how you deal with that. And some people don't mention it, and some people it's their whole act is what, whatever. But that's because people are, because you're communicating by speaking, stuttering does force you to talk about that. You can't skip it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, that young man that he works Flappers a great deal, who has Tourette's? He was on America's, what's his name? That's it.
Yeah.
And, I remember the first time I saw him.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a good comic, too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, so I think he was on America's Got Talent.
I think he's on Conan, too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's neat. So the backyard's coming together slowly, but because it rained 3 out of 4 days last week.
Oh, that dirt's so fucking sweet, though, right? Your plants are growing in it.
Well, we do. We planted a couple of potatoes, and we're gonna have 3 months from now piles and piles of potatoes, because that's how you grow a potato. You stick the eye of the potato underneath some dirt. It sprouts, and then all of a sudden you pile more dirt around the stem, and then you keep and as it because it grows tall. But you just put. So you have dirt.
Well, I have dirt, and I have a potato. I have a couple. I bought a bag. So the eye is what, like when the little shoots come out of it. Is that the eye? Yeah. Can they have more than one eye?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course they. But you can just cut that part of the potato that has an eye that's sprouting, or you can take that whole potato that has a bunch of eyes coming out of it.
Yeah.
And then just plant it, just kind of cover it a little bit with dirt, and then keep mounding as the leaves go up into the sky. Keep piling dirt around it, and literally 2 or 3 months from now, you'll have a half a dozen potatoes. When it flowers is when the potatoes are when the stuff showing flowers.
Wow.
That means potatoes are growing under the earth. And then when the green stuff starts to brown and wilt, that means it's time to harvest the whole plant. And you dig it up, and then you have a half a dozen potatoes.
Jackie, that's what our people were unable to do 160 years ago. And you're going to do it right now.
I know it.
That's fascinating.
I'm looking forward to it. And the bad day that I had this week, I went and I just hid out in what's going to be the gaming room attached to the garage.
How exciting.
And I just stood there and talked to Maria Bamford on the phone for 20 minutes. And I was like, it's going to be great when we have something here. But it was actually kind of nice because it's going to be great. That guy's doing a great job.
Yeah, it's cool. I dragged a chair to the front yard and a little umbrella. And I sat out there today to finish this book. And I've been sitting out there. I sit in front of the pine tree I planted, or I had planted a couple years ago, where I put my dad's ashes in it. And this fucking pine tree is amazing. I love it. I'm so happy looking at a pine tree. All of its little little branches are going up. They're like, hey, we're number one, right? They're growing up to the sun. They're excited to be there, and it feels like I've left a mark on the earth, which is
you added a
healthy
tree. Good work.
Yeah. I put some other trees up, but they're they don't have the sparkle that this pine tree does.
Right. We got to get a guy out. This is a great story. It's whatever, but we gotta get someone to come out and trim the orange tree and the lemon tree because it's too packed, and so we gotta.
I have to tell you, I have a hard time with trimming. I mean, I love fucking trees crashing into each other. I want like a forest where there's no room for the sun to come in, but everyone says that's bad. You got to prune that stuff. But I like it.
Wildness.
I want it to look wild.
In wildness is the preservation of the world. That's Thoreau. And the reason I know that is because there was 4 scrub brushes and 1 tree next to the co-op when I went to college. In essentially the dorm that I lived in at the University of Wisconsin had like this fake park next to it that didn't have any wildness. And there was a giant placard that said, in wildness is the preservation of the world.
Yeah.
Thoreau.
Exactly. I want to get wild in Burbank.
Hey, there was a big explosion in Burbank. That wasn't by you, was it?
No, someplace else. Yeah.
It looked grim.
It did.
It blew up.
I'll tell you what was exciting to me last night was the erupting of baby Krakatoa. That
just a little bit though. That the thing that they showed was from 2015. Did you see that?
A lot of people try to harsh my vibe by telling me that.
Yeah.
But guess what? You fucking failed because I was still excited. And I was reminded of the great B-52 song Lava. And I played it in my room. And I was
it's a musical reference that only Kyle will get.
And I was singing it, and it was awesome, and it reminded me of being a girl again. With all my friends, we all danced to the B-52s.
I have to say that when we get out of this, I need to go to Indonesia immediately before it is covered in Krakatoa dust. Because I'm just thinking about I've got to travel a fair amount in the last 30 years.
Yeah.
But in the last 5 years, you too.
Yeah, me too. I'm so grateful that I went the places I went. Holy shit.
Yeah, me too. But I got to get to Indonesia. I want to go to the Indonesia and the Philippines before I croak. And
it's weird. You keep going to places my dad worked.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, my dad worked in the Philippines for a little while, and he worked in Indonesia. He lived in Jakarta for a little while. If you go to Nicaragua, I have to end this podcast because you'll be retracing his footsteps.
Right. I'm your dad. The weird thing is I've never wanted to go to, the only place I've ever wanted to go in Central or South America is Peru. And have you ever been to Peru?
Nope, I haven't. When I was little, we used to go to Baja California, because we lived in California and it was pretty easy. But Mexico terrifies me right now. I know parts of it are totally okay, but I don't know, it just scares me. It's lawless.
Yeah, Peru isn't Mexico, of course.
No.
But I want to go to Peru because when I was 13, I read a book about the Incans.
Oh yeah.
And how they made those roads without using any mortar. And I really need to see some Incan road before I fall over in a heap, slip on a banana peel.
Yeah.
Anything. Eat a guinea pig?
Oh my
God. I'll eat a guinea pig.
Wow.
Make it into a taco. I'm in.
Oh my God. You guys, your food choices on this podcast are horrific. Across the board.
Oh my God. Says someone who's eating like Starbursts for lunch.
M&M's, Jackie.
What do you have for junk food around the house?
Not much. I have a red velvet cake I got last week at Porto's, and
nice.
I'm slowly making my way through that. I usually have dessert at night. I had it at 1 p.m. today instead. I'm sliding into dictatorship. I don't know what that means, but I have to. I guess I have to order some more food.
Interesting.
There's Is it?
Kind of. Well, here's the thing. So my brother Russ calls me and he's like, you have to be in charge of getting Dad's groceries because he keeps leaving his apartment.
Oh, my God.
And he's 84 and he smoked for 40 years.
Right.
And I was like, okay. And he said, so just order it from the Milwaukee Ralph's, which is called Pick and Save. And I was like, well, do you have a Pick and Save account? And he said, I do, but I can't face it. Will you please be the one? And I was like, of course I'll be the one.
You can't face it.
Well, I found out today. Was it today when yesterday I found out why. Because so I called my dad. I'm like, what do you want? He wants a lot of pudding, it turns out. And shitty white bread. And I'm like, sliced. He's like, don't get fancy bread for me. I just want white sandwich sliced bread. And I was like, the one that says Kroger's for $1? And he's like, exactly. So he wants a loaf of $1 Kroger's bread. And so I get it for him. Anyway, so yesterday I call my great aunt, my Aunt Alice, and she's in her, like if he's 84, she's 95,
oh
right?
Oh my God. Is that his
and
sister?
I'm like, she's actually our first cousin.
Okay.
So, but we always called her Aunt Alice.
Oh, yeah.
So I call her and I'm like, I was telling her what I was doing for my dad. And she's like, I said, what are you doing for groceries? And she's like, well, the neighbor kind of goes sometimes. And I was like, okay, why don't I just order you groceries? And she's like, all right, I'll just send you a check. And I'm like, anyway. So I try to go on and create another account at Pick and Save so I could just a different address.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the goddamn world. The interface won't let me do it. I have to use my AOL account and set up another Pick and Save account so I can send pork loin to my 95-year-old aunt.
I bet Pick and Save only recognizes AOL on CompuServe accounts. That's my guess.
I think it's a good guess. I think there's solid gold there. Yeah.
Like, I've been ordering out,
yeah. Are you doing delivery or are you doing pickup?
Delivery now. I feel terrible. Like, I had somebody bring booze to my mom, and it was on one of the rainiest nights that we had. I felt so bad, but I tipped her $20, but I gave her. Good. She brought some vodka for my mom. I don't know. They're just saying don't leave the house for this week and next week, in California. Yeah. And it sees like we're sort of like flattening it. It's working kind of. And, right. And I guess seeing that article about runners and their spray that runners have. And someone else was like, well, it might not be totally accurate, but it just...
What does it mean?
It just means like if someone's running behind you and they... that's going all over you, right?
Oh, like joggers.
Yes, yeah.
If you jog next to somebody who you don't know.
Or if they run by you. Yeah, it just... Okay. It's like, but I don't know. That just made me wary.
Even when I go for a walk... if someone's on the same sidewalk as me, I go walk in the street.
Yeah, I do that too. I
do 6 feet because I'm not... And then I just yell, happy quarantine. And then I always get a laugh because I will fucking tell one joke at a time like the goddamn clown that I am.
But have you noticed, like on Twitter, I mean, there's a lot of people, I don't know, but like seems like friends of mine, like a lot of my Twitter friends are commenting on it. Like they're losing spouses and they're losing loved ones to COVID. Like that are comedy adjacent, maybe comedy stand-up adjacent. And then a lot of like friends of ours might know them.
I know. I don't know anyone who's died yet. I know people who've got it. Yeah. Like Andy's stepbrother's wife, he married them. She has it, and she just got released from the hospital yesterday. So,
God, was she on a ventilator?
Yeah. She was in for a week, and but only for a week. So she didn't have it as bad as some people have had it. Where you're 14 days in the hospital.
Brian Yang, the comic, has it. He's in the hospital right now. And then he went like 5 days without tweeting. I'm like, what the fuck? And then he started tweeting again. Because do you remember there's a lawyer and a writer named David Latt had it kind of early on. And he was like, well, this is what it's like to have COVID. And he tweeted a couple pictures. And then 2 days later, it's like noted lawyer is put in a medically induced coma. It's like, what the fuck? This guy was just tweeting kind of, mundanely about it. And he was in a coma for a while, several days, and then he came out and he was finally released a couple days ago. But it was like
I know that they've been doing that medically. They're making people go into comas because they can treat them easier.
And they can intubate them easier. Yes.
Okay.
And then they're not going to be pulling it out and stuff like that.
Oh, interesting.
But
oof. Yeah.
I know. But that's not a cure-all. Like, you can come out of that and still have major health problems from that and major long-term lung damage. And, I mean...
There's scarring on the lungs, supposedly.
Yes, and damage to the heart. Some people have heart attacks after that kind of stuff. I just remember, like, in January or in February, early on, do you remember this? It was like, well, if you're not 80 and you get it, it's like 2 days, it sucks, and then it's no big deal. And I think I felt like I was a little more cavalier, like, if I get it, I'm sure I'll be fine, whatever. And then, as you know, I probably took some dumb chances I shouldn't have. And then, like going to Tacoma for a gig when Seattle was on lockdown, I'm like, I'm fine, I spent 3 days in Milwaukee, and when my brother said that I couldn't stay with him, I remember being kind of a little pissy about it and okay with it. Like, he was like, just get a hotel. Yeah. And it was in between Dayton and Bloomington, right? The last gig I did. Right. And so I went home, and the first day, I'm there for 3 days, right? And the first day I see my dad and I hug him. And then the last day I was like, I'm not hugging you. We went out to lunch and we sat across from each other, and I was like, doesn't mean I don't love you. Just, I'm around too many people, and you're around too many people. And so we shouldn't do this. And then it was another week and a half before my brother was like, you have to stay inside, to my dad. And then I think the first time Russ called me, he's like, hey, send Dad some acrylic paints and some canvases, because he's run out of canvases and paints. And I was like, on it. And so, but I guess Russ told him that whatever he paints during this time, if he stays quarantined, Russ will rent him a gallery and he can do a show. Nice. I was like, that is some serious That's a cool idea. Yeah. And Russ was like, I know other people that are painting too, and we can do a whole COVID kind of. That's a COVID theme. That's cool. Yeah, kind of neat. But Russ is a good guy. And yeah. Oh my God. So. I love that I'm able to check our time. Woohoo, 51. Sure. I love that I'm able to check. Yeah, let's do one.
We are so thrilled at your interest in attending Hieronymus Wigginstaff's School for Heroism and Villainy. Wigginstaff's beautiful campus boasts state-of-the-art facilities and instructors with real-world experience. We are also proud to say that our alumni have gone on to be professional heroes and villains in the most renowned kingdoms in the world. But of course, you are not applying to the main school, are you? You're applying for our sidekick and henchperson annex. You will still benefit from the school's amazing campus, and you'll have a lifetime of steady employment. Of course, there's no guarantee how long that lifetime will be.
Join the McRoys as they return to Dungeons & Dragons with The Adventure Zone Graduation, every other Thursday on Maximum Fun, or wherever podcasts are found.
Okay, we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Jackie and Laurie Show. I'm Jackie Cation. Oh, I guess that means I'm Laurie Kilmartin. I threw it to you. Did you see that on the on the thread when somebody asked you a question and I answered it and I said, "Oh, I'm even mixing us up." What did they ask? I missed it. Was it in a chat at the? It was in the thread. Oh, no. Okay. It was in the text thread. That we're on. Oh, yeah. And they asked what had blown up in Burbank. Oh. And I sent them the KTLA or NBC. It's providing information is that's fine. It seems valid. I'm not doing your act. Let me talk to you about birds. I like the bird thing. I like Kyle's. Let's talk about Kyle like he's not here. Kyle's set was actually really good. I really liked that story about you being 12. And the other guy being 12. And I thought, because you were also 12. Like, you kept talking about how 12 this other kid was. But you were totally 12. Very 12. You were enormously 12. You were also probably a giant 12.
Oh, how tall were you when you were 12? Oh, God.
Isn't your son 6 foot now?
Yeah, but he's like 13 and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
That
is a.
Yeah, he's.
I love that we both pause and not do the dick joke. Good for us. Good for us.
Grown,
Yeah, I think so.
or have we lost our even basic comedy chops? Because guess what? It didn't even occur to me.
What?
Yeah.
That's a foot dick joke
I know.
there.
It was handed to me and I didn't even recognize it. This is
exactement.
We've got to let's put America back to work. I'm on Trump's side now. If I can't even recognize a dick joke, I'm lost. How will I close?
How will you close? I've been closing on the last 2 shows I did, the one we did, and then tonight I was just working on the dad chunk, and it's coming together. But it's more. It just needs more fucking punchlines, and there's no way to get them without writing them. It turns out. I will see a pattern at some point.
Well, I guess this whole thing puts a roadblock in the, I gotta have a new hour a year, momentum.
Right, those
that
jackasses, yeah.
Some people have put the rest of us on.
Everybody had sort of quarantine jokes tonight on the show I did tonight. It was Carmen Morales was hosted and did 10 or 15. And then Gary Peterson went up and I hadn't seen him in a while. He had a lot of quarantine stuff that was hilarious. And then Maria went up and did a 10. And then I did 20.
Cool.
And it was a good show, but I hadn't seen Gary Peterson in a while. He wrote my Godzilla ally joke.
Oh, nice.
And gave that to me. He tagged that for me, my ally joke with a Godzilla reference. He wanted me to act out Godzilla more, but I don't do a very good Godzilla impression. Is what we learned. Or I learned.
Here's what I'm like. I guess I do a little act outs, but nothing crazy. And I'm definitely not a front-facing camera comic. Like, Zoom I'll do, but I can't, I'm not going to do a character to my iPhone. I can't do it. It's not in me. Maybe it was when I started stand-up. Before I became a stand-up, I was more open to things, but I'm a very closed-off person. And I just want to tell my jokes.
You were the one who posted that Hamilton thing with John Krasinski.
That was me. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
They got all the original cast to sing the song Alexander Hamilton, which is the first song of Hamilton. And it was
for that kid.
And all these little, it was a Zoom gallery of people just chiming in when it was their turn to sing. It was great.
I teared up, quite honestly. I got a little choked up. It was so pretty.
Yeah.
And then Mary Poppins, she was crying too. Did you see her wipe the tears away? The lady who plays
No.
Mary Poppins, who's married to John Krasinski.
Emily Blunt?
Yeah, she has a name. Yeah. She's a famous actress. She's a whole thing. She isn't just Mary Poppins.
Yeah. She's Mrs. John Krasinski as well. So yeah, she has several identities.
Do you know that Disney Plus has Onward?
Onward?
You can see the new Pixar movie is on Disney Plus, the brand new one.
Okay.
Yeah, because they didn't go to, obviously they're not in theaters.
Oh.
So they released it just on Disney Plus.
Oh, okay.
Brand new, and it's about brothers.
Oh, yeah, my kid wanted to see that. Well, I guess
he will like it, I think.
It's only $4.99, right? Or $5.99?
It's free. Oh, Disney Plus?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something like that.
It's pretty cheap.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. You get 30 days free. I'm doing 30 days of Acorn because I want to watch the rest of Miss Fisher. But they also have Acorn TV. The first 2 seasons were free on Amazon Prime until they weren't.
Oh.
And then they're like, oh, you got to join Acorn. And I'm like, I fucking hate you. And so I'm doing the 30 days free of Acorn. And then I found out that David Tennant has 2 detective series that I kind of want to watch.
Oh my God, Acorn. I love that guy.
Yeah, that guy's good, right? He's one of the good pointy dudes.
Oh, yes. He's very angular.
He is angular.
No, that happened with Outlander. Netflix has the first 3, and then now Amazon, they're doing a thing with Stars where you can get like 3 months of Stars for like $5. So I just did that, and I can finish watching Outlander. But yeah, they're going to be hooking us into all these things in the next couple months, and then we'll just be paying about as much as you pay for cable pretty soon.
Right.
You know?
Right. Entirely. That is how they get you. It's that and the free bread.
No, that's Olive Garden, but I see what you're saying.
Who did that joke? I forget. There was a New York Italian comic his dad was always telling him, don't fill up on the bread. You don't want to fill up on the bread, because there was like some sort of, it was a great joke. I can't remember how it went. I think it was the same guy who talked about how his Italians tip really well, and one of his uncles went to a funeral and gave a 5 spot to the pallbearer. Give me close to the body.
Oh my God, that feels familiar.
Doesn't it feel familiar? He also, and I think it was
Sal It's not Sal, right?
No, it isn't Sal.
I forget Sebastian Manicotti. Wait, what?
Sal Manicotti. Sebastian Maniscalco.
Yes, that's right.
Or whatever.
Oh my God, why can't I get his name right?
Because Sal Manicotti is the greatest name in the world. When you name your next child Sal Manicotti, if you will.
Yes, I'm.
You know, had a hilarious
I also feel
headshot.
like I don't need to know his name because he's already incredibly successful. Like, someone will cut me off and fill me in. I don't need to put any effort into it.
Yeah, you're not hurting that guy's feelings.
No,
he doesn't
right,
care.
or his career.
No.
Yeah, right.
Or his career in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it almost helps his career that he could be known as Sal Manicotti. Right?
Let's get out of here. I'm done.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture.
Artist owned.
Audience supported.